pair of disappointing reports on the economy. Jobless claims rose last week while retail sales fell for the month of December. Joining us now with a look at the numbers and what they mean for the recovery, Burt Flickinger, Managing Director of Strategic Resource Group, and Gary Burnison, CEO of Korn, Ferry International. It's about jobs, it's about money, and right now, Gary, a lot of people don't have either. Talk to me about the jobs numbers in particular. This going to get any better?
Well, it's a tough time. I mean, it's a tough time for Americans. You know, we're going through a massive transition from, complete deleveraging to re-regulation. And I think what we're in store for is kind of a Nike swoosh in terms of recovery.
Well, you know what, Burt? I mean, here's the thing. You look at the retail sales data across the board. I was shocked about electronics. I was shocked about some of the food numbers.
Absolutely, Cheryl. And as you and Matt reported, 3 to 3.5 million homes going into foreclosure. It could go bad to worse because with grocery down almost 1%, restaurants down 0.5%, and as you said, consumer electronics, which should be a salient strength in December, dropping dramatically. It's a real cause for concern.
Yeah, I mean, Matt, that's the thing, is all of this for the overall economy does not bode well.
No, it does not bode well, and the food really blows my mind, too, because you think the last thing you're going to do is cut back on food, especially over the holiday season. But the one silver lining, I'm always going to be the optimist here, is online sales rose. Okay. So I think a lot of people are doing a lot more shopping online, and that's the future of retail. I'm
usually more of an optimist than you, and I'm even taking the other side on this one. All right, Gary, so let's talk about what you're seeing in the jobs picture, because, look, if things are going to get better in 2010, people need jobs, they need to spend money. Who's making money and where?
Well, look, I mean, you've got kind of two Americas. You've got those that have skills and training and education, and those that do not. And those that do not are being left behind, unfortunately. And you've seen, the job losses. 1 out of 5 was out of the manufacturing sector. Then those employees went to housing, and then that bubble burst. And so, really, to get back to sub 5% unemployment, you would need to see GDP growth of, say, 4% a year for the next 6 years.
I don't think that's going to happen, Burt.
No, Cheryl. You've got 30 million people unemployed or underemployed. For every job opening, there's 6 people applying for those jobs. And even for the people who are getting those jobs, 80% of them are going to take pay cuts, and it's going to take 6 years for them to get up to their prior level of income.
Sure, and the retail sales data backs up what you're both saying here about the state of the consumer.
And Cheryl, it's our Fox forecast from December 2007, where everyone thought we were crazy with saying there'd be a 1,000-day retail recession. We have 300 more days to go, and it's going to be tough to turn the corner.
You call it the Fox forecast?
Yes.
I didn't know that existed. That's good to know. Thank you, Burt.
Well, I think that if you look at specific retailers, not to get drilled down too much, but some of the retailers did pretty well, and some of the higher end. And let's go back to the unemployment number. It is over 10%, but those that have a education over 22 years old, I believe the number of unemployed is about 5.4%. So if you look at the number, and those are the same people that are spending money at some of the higher end. So if you want to look at retail, I think the high end is where you have to look at in this type of environment.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, that's absolutely true. I mean, the unemployment rate for those that have, that don't have a bachelor's degree is 2 to 3 times higher than those that do. But look, the days of conspicuous spending in this country are gone. And we're entering a period of sacrifice and frugality. I mean, if you look at what's driven the economy over the last 30 years, right, it's been the consumer. And largely by tapping into a piggy bank, called home equity values. And I just think we're in for, a readjustment here.
You know what? I mean, I got to bring this up. We live in a credit-based society, Burt. That we have been spending money, not just home equity, but on credit cards. The debt for the average family is tenfold in 10 years. And that does not, retail sales, I guess it shouldn't surprise us then, that they're pulling back.
Cheryl, you're completely correct. You look at consumer debt as a percent of personal income, 126%, credit card default rates close to 10%. So you're discussing, we're facing at least 5 years of frugality for a cash and credit constrained consumer going forward.
Long-term positive, though, Matt.
Long-term positive is that Americans are resilient and they forget things pretty quickly, especially bad things. So when we do start seeing a pickup and more money coming into our wallets, unemployment falls, we're going to go right back out there and start spending because it's going to be this pent-up demand for the finer things in life.
Gary, a lot of people that are watching this show probably need help, either some advice about where to look for work. What are you telling your clients?
Well, look, I mean, 70% of our business is at the C-suite and board levels, right? But
they're looking for jobs too, though.
Yeah,
I know
they
plenty
are.
of them.
They are, but out of 300 million Americans, we're really talking about the middle management and lower ranks. I mean, this is a tough time. You have to be extremely creative. You need to network. And you're probably going to have to take a cut in compensation, be extremely flexible as to location as well.
You know what, Bert, last word on retail sales. Is there any going to be last-minute numbers that we don't have yet? I mean, maybe that first week of January. Because store shelves did get emptied out from an inventory
They
perspective.
did get emptied out, and the truck deliveries didn't get to replenish the store's stock. So you'll see a little bit of a bounce back. And the other positive thing, Cheryl, is with the retail rationalization, we had twice as much square footage as shopper demand dictated as a lot of the weaker, undercapitalized retailers collapsed.
Yes.
And during the next decade, you'll start to see a real retail renaissance as we get in the second half of 2010.
Interesting stock picking times.
It is great because there's going to be a lot of retailers, Bert's exactly right, that are going to go by the wayside. There's too many retailers right now, and the strong that survive will become even stronger.
All right. Well, gentlemen, this has been a very fascinating conversation. I've actually got some breaking news I've got to get to. But Bert Flickinger and Gary Burnison